meeting is being recorded.
Okay, so thank you for joining us today for our Arrival to Thailand webinar. So we're going to go over the visa guide and Thai application part, Thai pass application. So please take it away, Kip, to start.
Yes, today the topic we shared, like Jasmine said, we will go through the visa guide and Thailand pass application, which is after you finish, that means you have a green light to apply for these two items, visa and Thailand pass. Today we will overview for the process of booking flight, insurance, the visa details, and Thailand pass application. Also, we will share the frequency asked question, and when we finish the presentation, you can ask us for if you have any question at all. And for the to-do list, that means you got the green light to book the flight, the insurance purchasing, the visa application, and Thailand pass right away. And now Thailand didn't require the RT-PCR test before flying, and also no RT-PCR test once you arrive here as well. But it depends on the airline that you come with. They might ask for the RT-PCR test. So please check with the airline or the country that you might transit the flight to Thailand. And it just announced that we will not need the quarantine hotel after the 1st of May. For the rundown, we do recommend you to arrive no later than the 29th of May. And also, if you would like to arrive earlier, we suggest to not earlier than the 25th of May. So you can have the time for your visa to process from the current visa to the working visa. And as I mentioned, you can book the flight and the hotel we will book for you on the 29th of May. You will stay at Forum Park Hotel, which is around Sathorn. So the hotel in Bangkok for that night, it will reserve the room by us. Sorry. Okay. So regarding the flight, as I mentioned before, to arrive no later than the 29th of May, and now it's no quarantine or the RT-PCR test before you flying. And also the COVID-19 vaccination card, they might require you to make it as a digital version, like a QR, so that when you check in at the airline, they might ask you to show that more as of the physical card that everyone have. So please make it as a QR code for the COVID-19 vaccination certificate. And also, if you would like to arrive earlier, like you would like to travel in Bangkok or anywhere in Thailand, so we suggest to not arrive earlier than the 25th, so that you have the time for the visa as like the South African people come as a visa exemption. So they have just 30 days for that visa, and then you have to extend, but that's one time that you are able to extend in country. And we recommend you to book the flight through the airline or the third party, the agent that you trust. And we recommend you to have the condition that you can like changing or the flexible for changing the flight or amendment, which is no charge or any penalty in case if you have something happen with you, like the document or the circumstance of COVID-19. Also, after you book the flight, please purchase the insurance, which is now Thailand required to minimum corporate 10,000 USD and specify COVID-19 treatment on insurance as well. And once you book the flight, you purchase the insurance, please send all the documents to us. And also we will require the insurance to cover the entire length of stay in Thailand, at least like 1 semester. And please share the document of the insurance to us, not just the receipt with the company. We need the whole document from the insurance. Okay, so we have explained the flight, then the insurance purchasing, and now we will talk about the visa, that there are the specific country for the visa to arrive Thailand.
So there's 4 different types of visas that you're going to come on, and they're very stereotyped to your program. So we have lots of different programs in the call and listening today. So the first one is the visa exemption. This is for everybody from South Africa. The reason why is that when in the past South Africans have tried to apply for a 60-day visa, they have stamped something in the passport saying, don't let this person change to a working visa unless they go back to South Africa. So that is the reason why all South Africans come in on a visa exemption, which means that you only need to apply for the Thailand pass. You don't apply for a visa, and you can extend this once in Thailand before you change to your working visa as well. So everybody will be given different visa guidance based on you personally, where you're from and what program you're on, and every little detail to do with you. The next one is the tourist visa. So a lot of people are coming over on the tourist visa. This is for people who are not from South Africa, who are doing a paid teaching program. So those of you doing George Mason University programs, you are not coming over on a tourist visa. You're coming over on a different visa, which I'll get to in a moment. But everybody doing just the normal paid teaching, which is either 1 full semester or 1 year or beyond, you'll be coming over on the 60-day tourist visa. And the next one is the non-B visa. So anybody who originally comes over on the 60-day tourist visa or visa exemption, you will eventually change over to a non-B visa, which is the working visa. And then finally, for George Mason University people, you are all coming on a non-O visa, a volunteer visa. You were all sent your individual packets yesterday. So when you apply for this one, please upload every document that we've sent you into the online portal or in person if you are doing it from a country that requires it in person. But these are the 4 different visas. So everybody who's coming here to do paid teaching for a full semester or a year or beyond will eventually change to a non-B visa, and everybody on the George Mason University program will be coming in on the non-O visa, and then you'll finish your program. So you don't need to change your visa at all. So that's the reasoning why there's different ones. So just to repeat again, South Africans, you do not need to apply for a visa at all. You only need to apply for your Thailand pass. And in order to do this, you need your flights, your insurance, and your hotel name, which we've provided you in the email, the Forum Park Hotel. It's also got the address there. So those are the only things you need for your application for your Thailand pass. Everybody else will apply for a Thailand pass as well. Still mandatory in Thailand. It's just one of those COVID entry requirements that requires a little more information saying that you're covered for medical and you've been vaccinated for COVID. So you will also need these details to apply for the Thailand pass. So your flights, insurance, and that hotel name is always first. 60-day tourist visa. So this is for people mostly from the US, the UK, Ireland, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and I know we've got some Europeans in there as well. So everybody doing the paid teach program for a semester, a year or beyond is coming in on a 60-day tourist visa. I know that a lot of these countries are visa-free, which means that you can enter Thailand just like the South Africans on the visa exemption. You don't need to pay for a visa. The reason why we like you to apply for the 60-day visa is because it gives you that extra 30 days. So you can also extend once, which gives you 90 days total in Thailand. It gives you that extra time so we can get you onto that working visa and try and avoid you having to do a visa run. Even though visa runs are very common these days, for people doing a long-term paid teach program. Anybody on George Mason University, you don't need to worry about visa runs. But this is the reason why we need long-term teach people to come over on a 60-day tourist visa. So we need things like your passport being within 6 months, having at least one full blank page, but we do advise 3 if you stay here for a long time. A lot of people say that they're starting with 6 months, but they end up being here for a year. So you'll need at least 3 blank pages for all the stamps that they'll give you with that one. E-visas are available, and the only way to get this visa for the people from the UK, Canada, and the US. So you will be applying digitally. For Australia and New Zealand, you must apply manually still. Fortunately, it hasn't made it down south yet. So you can do that by going into your embassy if you are close by, or sending it in Australia and New Zealand Post. They're very reliable to be able to get your Thailand visa, which is a physical sticker in your passport. Europe sometimes requires you to go into your embassy as well. But if you are from Europe, just reach out if you are having any problems. And please give at least 15 days, whether you are doing it online or in person manually, to be able to get this visa back. So that email we sent you yesterday had a deadline to apply for your visa by. Please apply as soon as possible. We are just trying to make sure that you have as less stress as possible getting here and that you have everything in order before you're set to come out. And also, all tourist visas, including the visa exemption from South Africa, require to show an exit flight from Thailand. This is to show authorities that you are a genuine tourist and you do have intentions to leave. Even though it is completely legal to change your visa over to a working visa when you are here in Thailand, you must show an exit flight from Thailand. It's written into law. This is why we suggest you do it. And often they do check at immigration once you land. Sometimes they don't, which is very frustrating because you spent the money on the flight to show them and they didn't even ask for it. But we have had people turned away at the border when they arrived because they did not have this exit flight. And also, another worst case, if you were asked to provide this information on the day, then you may pay double or triple for an exit flight out of Thailand to prove to them. Now, the time frame for this exit flight, just to go back one step, it needs to be within your visa time frame. So for a South African, it needs to be within your 30 days. For a tourist visa person, 60-day tourist visa, it needs to be within 60 days. So what people usually do here is they book a flight to a neighboring country, the cheapest one that they can find. I don't recommend using Skyscanner usually, but this is a scenario where you can use them just to find this cheap flight. Book that one, and essentially it's a burner flight. It's something that you will never go on. It's just to show Thai authorities that you have this flight, which is required by law. So if anybody has any questions about the exit flight from Thailand when we get to the end, I know it's a little bit of an interesting case. Please do let us know, but it doesn't usually require you to have to book a flight home. Unless you've got a very flexible airline that can change the date later for you to a date where you'd actually use, because it has to be within the 30 or 60-day visa period. It doesn't really match very well often. So that's why people usually choose the neighboring country. So just to explain that one, if you have any questions at the end, let me know. Now we've got the non-B and the non-O visas. So a non-B visa is what everybody who is teaching long-term, a full semester, a year or beyond, will eventually go on. Your school does all of this for you. They need to organize a huge lot of paperwork to do with the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Immigration. They don't really communicate, so they will do all of this for you. The instructions saying that you can apply online are only if you were to apply before you come over, but no schools are able to get this documentation before you start your course at the end of May. So everybody will just be coming over on the tourist visa that will eventually change to a non-B. So you don't need to worry too much about this. You will have full visa support to be able to change over your visa. Just remember there are changing visa fees. So if all your documents are in order, to extend a visa is usually 1,900 baht. To extend a non-B or change non-B can go up to 3,000, and same with the work permit. So this is in your budget guide that we sent you, so you can have a look over for your new life in Thailand as well. Now, non-O visa. So this is everybody on the George Mason University program. You're coming over on a volunteer visa. All of your paperwork has been sent to you individually yesterday. So if you did not receive this, please let us know as soon as possible so we can make sure that you're all set to go. You can also apply as soon as possible. You just need to show your flight's insurance and the hotel name once again. Please do include every document that we've sent you. So we should have compressed the giant document that has the Thai ID card and the registration of the organization. So it should fit in your application. But if it doesn't, just let us know. There's a great program called I Love PDF that can make that file smaller. But you should be set to go to apply as long as you got your flight's insurance and your hotel name, which everybody has as well. So everybody is set to apply for their visa now. And please remember that all visas expire. So the non-O visa, it will expire when you're set to leave Thailand. So you don't need to extend. You're finished your program, you're done. For everybody else doing a long-term stay, the visa exemption, the tourist visa, and the non-B visa, they all expire. So nobody gets the easy visa or the quick or cheaper visa. Visa processes never end in Thailand. People who've been here 20 years still need to report every 3 months. Still need to extend their visa, but we give you full support for that. So you don't need to stress about visas, just telling you the whole process about what it's like once you're here. So applying for your e-visa, if you are from the US, UK, and Canada, you apply online. Everybody can use this link here to apply for their visa online. It does ask you some pretty strange questions, which I'll get to at the end. They're super useful. If you've got to go somewhere, please come back to the end slide, which goes over the frequently asked questions. And you just follow the step-by-step process. You need a headshot of yourself, a passport style one, not smiling. So even if you can get a clear photo of a physical passport photo, that's always helpful as well. And also to scan your passport, you need all your supporting documents. So your flights to enter Thailand. It will also ask you sometimes about your exit flight from Thailand. So please do make sure that you get this one sorted as well. The neighboring country is always the best, cheapest option for a burner flight to prove that you're leaving Thailand for a 60-day tourist visa. Also, just as back step a little, non-O visas can also apply online through the online portal as well. So everybody from George Mason, you can all apply online if you're from the US, Canada, and UK, all through that online portal once again here. You need your hotel information. So this is the Forum Park Hotel. They have been a hospital for a while. So we are hoping that they'll be all opened up. They've got a pool, they're in a good location, they've got a great meeting room for us. So if anything does change with our hotel, don't worry, because we're picking you up from the airport. We'll make sure you need to get to where you need to get to. And this is the address under the Forum Park Hotel that you can pop into your visa application. We book the night of the 29th of May for you. Some agents include this, or most agents include this. Others include it in your rent fee because your rent accommodation was separate, which I'm sure that you have read from your agency already. And once again, the address is just there to help you with your application because they will ask. Financial evidence. So this is another interesting one. They do require everybody entering Thailand to show that they have at least $700 US on them, just to show that they have enough money to sustain themselves while they're in a foreign country. Thailand does not want any poor tourists that are stuck here causing trouble. So that is the main reason. It's written into law that you need to bring this with you. And it's also written that it needs to be in cash. So $700 US or equivalent. So it can be in Australian dollars, Canadian dollars, British pounds, euros, but please do not bring South African rand. South African rand is very difficult to change in Thailand. So please do bring cash. Bringing cash will help you out in a number of ways. So you will need a bit of cash to set things up. Like for those doing the long-term teach, you will need to pay a housing deposit. For those doing George Mason, maybe it's just your fund money. But please do bring over money in cash as it's required. And so you can change it into Thai baht when you are here. Please make sure that the notes are perfect. So not damaged, ripped, torn, drawn on, stamped, stained, or old. They need to be fresh, good currency notes that are in circulation for Thailand to be able to change them. If they do get a damaged note, they will either not change it at all, or they will change it for half the price that it's worth, because that's how much they can then exchange it for. So bringing cash, please make sure if it is in your local currency, it's very easy to change over here in Thailand. Make sure that the notes are really perfect. And then they will ask you questions about confirmation of your legal residence in your country. This is similar to legalizing your degree for anybody who's not George Mason University people. You don't need to do it. If you've been legalizing your degree, they would have asked you questions similar, because different states or different locations have different Thai embassies that correlate with that location. So that is why they ask you that question as well. So this is what I mean when I say that. So this is just a map of the US, and there's 4 Thai embassies in the US. So there's one in New York, there's one in Washington, DC, one in Chicago, and one in LA. And these are color-coded states that correlate with those specific Thai embassies, which you will digitally be applying to with your visa. So just something to keep in mind. This is why they keep asking you questions about your address, and all you need to show is a official document with your name and your address on it. So this could be a bank statement. If your driver's license shows your name and address, if your passport shows your name and address, I know some countries do, some countries don't. A bank statement, a fine, anything like that that shows your name and address to prove for the visa application. Then Canada, you've got two embassies in Vancouver and Ottawa. So another reason why they may ask you. England and Ireland, you all apply to London. So it's just the one embassy there, Thailand. Then you pay your visa fee. And then you will get your visa issued within 15 days. So these is all the people that are able to do the digital visa. You will get this letter. It's a sample letter. Return, it's got the little QR code on the bottom. And if you can send this to us and also show this to immigration when you arrive, so they don't accidentally stamp you in on a visa exemption, which is not a big deal. It just means that you have to go back to the airport to get the correct stamp. So please don't forget to show this to immigration once you arrive in Thailand as well. Bring it with you. Bring every document with you. Australia, you're applying manually. So you'll need to send off your passport with a passport photo, show your insurance, your flights, your hotel address, your bank statement. You can send this off via Australia Post or New Zealand Post. With New Zealand as well, it's exactly the same process. And then you will get your visa back again within about 15 days. Sticker in your passport. And then it does require you to show your proof of residence again, because there is 2 embassies in Australia, Canberra and Sydney. And then New Zealand only has the one in Wellington. So you also pay your fee. You can pay it at the post office, Australia and New Zealand Post, and it's $60 in both countries, which I know is a little unfair because of the exchange rate. The embassies here. Yep. And then once it's approved, you'll get it in 15 days as a sticker. Frequently asked questions. So especially for people applying for the e-visa, they do have some very odd questions. So yes, they want to see a selfie with your passport, with your face and your passport. So that is a real thing. They will also ask you where you've been for the last 12 months, in which you can just upload every page of your passport, whether it's got stamps or not, then you're proving where you've been for the last 12 months. Invitation letter, you do not need this. This will be your hotel booking because you are not going to a wedding in Thailand or hanging out with your family. You are coming here as a tourist on a tourist visa and doing our program as a tourist to begin with, or as a volunteer as well. So you don't need the invitation letter, but of course the non-O application is a little bit different. So you just upload everything you need to for non-O and you'll be fine. But for tourist visas, just put your hotel booking in the invitation letter part. The address questions based on jurisdiction, like I mentioned before, they're just trying to work out which embassy you're applying to. They do ask it more than once. So just a government document, your passport, your driver's license, that can show your name and address or a bank statement or anything like that. UK people, something has come up recently where they would like a personal statement of why you want to come to Thailand from your school, pension, or something else. But we have attached a little self-declaration statement that you can put here. It really doesn't apply to you. It's a very strange question, but the self-declaration has been helping everybody so far. And just the bottom couple of questions that we do get often: why do I need a visa if my country is visa-free? This is just to give you that extra time to make sure that you don't need to do any extra border runs if you are long stay teaching here in Thailand. So for anybody who is doing the semester, year or beyond, please do apply for the 60-day tourist visa unless you're South African. Please only get the visa exemption, which is you don't apply for a visa at all. And George Mason University people, you are only applying for a non-O visa and you should all have paperwork by now. Why do they need your bank statement of $700 US? Just to show that you're not going to go into poverty in Thailand and cause them a problem. So please don't forget that this is required by law. I don't know the last person who has been asked to see this, but please do bring it in case they do require it. They could send you back. It's legally written in their policy. And why do they need an extra
question?
Yes.
So do we need the bank statement or do we need it in cash, or is it both?
You need it in cash. So it says that it's required in cash. Yeah.
So
for your
we're not
visa,
gonna need.
show the bank statement.
So we're not gonna need to have like a bank statement printed out, right?
Well, you need that for your visa application. It'll ask you for your bank statement. So you'll need that to apply for your visa. And then when you arrive in Thailand, you need to show the cash.
Makes sense, thank you.
I have a question as well.
Yep.
So I'm in Thailand right now. I'm actually planning to make a visa run here next month.
Yep.
With that being said, can I bring that cash in a different currency, or does it have to be from my country?
No problem. You can bring it in any currency, especially the neighboring currencies. They're very easy to exchange. Vietnamese dong can be a little bit difficult in some places, but just don't bring South African rand.
Oh, okay, because yeah, I'm planning to go to Vietnam for my visa run.
Okay, so Vietnam will have very specific places in Thailand that can change Vietnamese dong. So in the big cities, Chiang Mai, Bangkok, Hue Hen, it can be really difficult to change Vietnamese dong here. But you'll eventually find it. It's not like South African rand where it kind of doesn't exist. So once again,
Okay.
please don't do that. Cool. And then why do you need the exit flight from Thailand on a tourist visa? It is just to show that you have intentions to leave the country on a tourist visa, because you are a tourist until you change your visa to the working visa. So please do not show immigration any of your teaching documents. You are a tourist. Your intentions is to be a tourist when you arrive until your school is able to change your visa over, and then you are a teacher in Thailand. George Mason University people, you will be fine because you are on a non-O visa because you are doing a volunteer program. So you don't need to worry about being asked why you're here. It's very evident.
All right. So you know the step that you have to book the flight, to purchase the insurance, and we apply the visa. And next, you have to apply Thailand pass. As of now, the government require the people who would like to arrive in Thailand apply the Thailand pass. So please apply to this link for the Thailand pass application, which is they takes like 3 or to 7 days for the process. And now it is not like in advance, but if you have some emergency case, 1 day in advance, it's acceptable, but you have to email to this link for the request and supporting documents. And we recommend you to use the Gmail account to apply Thailand Pass at some problem or trouble with the Yahoo or Hotmail account. So please use Gmail account. And for the document that you need to show why you apply the Thailand Pass, it is your passport. And if they require for the visa, also this is also you need to submit. And then it's the vaccination, COVID-19 vaccination card. And also the insurance that now they require to cover minimum 10,000 US dollar, which is specified COVID-19 treatment on there. And then the name of the hotel that you will stay when you arrive. And now, as I mentioned before, after May the 1st, they will not need to submit the quarantine hotel once you arrive. So that means you don't have to have the RT-PCR test once you arrive Thailand. Okay, and the RT-PCR test before flying, it might be required from the airline that you will departure from your country. So please check with the airline or the country that you will transit the flight with. Once the Thailand Pass approved, it's gonna come up like the QR code as the picture on the slide, which is you will need to show once you arrive here. So at the departure airport, you will need to present the Thailand Pass, the insurance, also might be with the RT-PCR test, which depend on the airline, and also present your visa. And as you might, once you arrive Thailand, you will be asked for the exit flight or the cash that is about 700 US dollar and the hotel booking. But this is their right to ask, but it's like randomly asked. It's not everyone got asked that. And when you pass the custom, they will give you the document as below. It is the TM6 card, which is you need to keep this with you all the time when you are in Thailand, and you have to send the picture of your TM6 to us once you arrive at the hotel. They will ask you to show the TM6 as well, both in the Bangkok hotel or in Hua Hin accommodation. And also you will got the visa stamp like this, which is it's gonna be in the time frame with your visa. Like the visa exemption will got 30 days staying, and the tourist visa 60 days. So it's gonna be in line with the visa ticket that you have. So the people who come with 60 days tourist visa, please show your visa to the custom. So they will stamp the same day as you have. Otherwise, you have to go to the airport to fix that. Also, the TMC card, if you lost it, you have to go to the hospital, to the police station to report that you have lost that. And now there is a new requirement for the tourism tax. It's about 300 baht that upon the entry. It is a new policy from the government. Okay, so to reconfirm again, once you arrive Thailand, you will be asked for the paperwork. It's like the exit flight, the insurance, the hotel that you stay, your visa, and also the cash, around 700 US dollar. And as some, we will pick you up at the airport. This is for some agency that we confirm to have the airport pickup including in your package. So please share us your flight detail, which is the document of the flight, not just the receipt. And also for the days that we recommend you to arrive is 29th of April, but not later than 5 p.m. so that you have time for yourself and not to be too exhausted. And we will have a meeting with you at Forum Park on the 29th at 5 p.m. And we will guide you to have the money exchange at the local area so that in Bangkok it's gonna be better rate than in Hua Hin. In Hua Hin we have just a few booths of the money exchange. Okay, Q&A. I would like to stop sharing the screen.
Can be questions about absolutely anything that's on your mind, anything at all.
There is a question on the chat box from Han. If you are not coming in using a tourist visa, do you need an exit flight as well?
No, you don't. So you may have one anyway because your visa is so secure on a non-O. You don't need to extend. You know exactly where you're coming. So you might have your flight booked home or somewhere else, but you don't need to have an exit flight on the non-O visa. On the non-O visa, don't need to.
I think I may have missed this. So, you all are saying to book a flight within the 60 days so that we can put that on our visa paperwork?
The exit flight, if you're on a tourist visa, yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
For booking flights as well, how we said to book directly through the airline, it really does help you if you need to change anything or you need to adjust anything or even get a special diet meal. We've noticed over the last couple of months, South Africans always use a travel agent. It does cause them a little bit of pain. So going directly through the airline on the airline's website is a very good option if you have not booked your flight to Thailand yet. Just a heads up. Any questions about absolutely anything?
For the pickup, if we come a day early, if we came on the 28th, would you still send a pickup for us?
I believe so. This is the first time we've been able to pick anybody up in 2 years due to COVID.
Oh.
So now that they've gotten rid of the quarantine hotel, they used to pick you up. But this is still included in our policy. So just make sure you send over your flights with your arrival details. Also, there's 2 different airports in Bangkok too. So please make sure all the details are there. And I'm sure it will be fine an extra day early. But just make sure we know.
Great, thank you.
And so as far as it goes, there's no quarantine requirements at all anymore?
There's still the Thailand pass.
Oh, okay. So
And-
no test and go anymore.
From May 1st. So
Okay.
if you are applying on the Thailand Pass website, Test and Go is still an option. They haven't really updated it yet. So we are waiting to see how they're going to go about that. You can most likely still apply via the Test and Go option, even though you don't have the required quarantine hotel booking. Your dates will show that it's after May 1st. So it should be fine. We're yet to see it, but if you do have any problems, please just email us anytime.
Okay.
If you plan to arrive, between the 25th and the 29th, how does lodging work? Do you all help us book or do we just book that on our own?
You are welcome to book whatever you like. If you do need advice on something you're looking for or something you'd like to go and see, you can always ask us. You could always book the same hotel that we're staying at as well. It's completely up to you, but we're also here to help. So let us know if you do need us.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Is everybody feeling confident with their visa application?
I actually have a question. So like right now I'm looking through the visa process and I
Yep.
attach an image and there's a shadow on it. Is it okay to have a shadow? Because it just give me like a feedback and say that there are line detected in the background.
Is it a photo of, what is it a photo of? Sorry.
So they asked to upload a photograph taken within 6 months.
Yes. They are
So,
quite particular if it's a photo of you.
yes. And
Try
I
and get some.
uploaded one. But then they said that it may not be approved because of lines being detected.
Okay. I would
Well,
take another one just because it's kind of nice that they're warning you. If there is ever anything wrong with your visa and it's just one section, you won't get denied. They will email you and say, hey, this is wrong. Can you resubmit it? But it kind of adds on another week. So I would just, if it's telling you something now, I would try and amend it before you apply so you don't have any stress in the long run.
I think normally from each country they have like a photo for visa, like guideline for how it look like to submit.
and is it okay to wear glasses or is it not acceptable in the
It's usually
photograph?
usually not acceptable on generic passports. I know for my country it's not acceptable, but there should be a guideline on the e-visa portal for the non-O, because I know you're applying for that one, that will show you what's acceptable and what's not.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, hi, Alyssa.
I do have one question. Hello. It's not about visa, but I do have a question about transcript. So I'll be coming on George Mason program. Do
Yep.
I need to order a transcript of official transcript?
You'll be fine.
Okay.
So because you're coming on a non-O visa, you will never get a work permit because you're not staying here long term. So you don't need a lot of these things. So George Mason people don't need to legalize their degree. If your transcripts or you're still completing your degree unavailable or not completed, don't worry about that at all. Criminal background checks for George Mason University people can be a third-party check when everybody who's staying long-term cannot. So it is quite different, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows their specifics for their specific program.
Okay. I actually already legalized, like applied for legalizing my diploma, but okay, but that's good. Thank you.
No worries. If you did, the legalization lasts forever. It never expires.
Okay.
So it's a good thing in the long run, but please don't legalize your degree if you're from George Mason. You don't have to do it, but if you've already started or done it or made a mistake in reading too much about paperwork, it does last forever.
Okay, good to know. Thank you so much.
I had a quick question. I saw the note about the nose ring, and would it be possible to wear something in place so that the hole doesn't close, or does it mean like nothing at all, like a small stud?
So stereotypically in Thailand, the general rule is no facial piercings and no visible tattoos, but it does depend on your school. So I would wait until you're there. I would have some plastic clear stud, something ready to go, just to see if they will accept that. But they may not still. It just depends on the school on the day or what they accept from their foreign teachers. The general rule is they won't, but you never know.
Okay, thank you.
And I have a question. So is the flight number similar to the confirmation number?
No. The flight number, say if it's Korean Air, it should be KE and 3 to 4 numbers. And it should be right next to the destination. So it comes in like lines of your connections, and it will have a different flight number for every single flight that you take. So if you fly from California to Tokyo, and then Tokyo to Bangkok, those will be 2 different flight numbers, and they'll be in a line.
So right now I'm looking at 3. So I'm gonna be, so it's gonna be from the US to New York, and then New York to Tokyo, and then Tokyo to Bangkok. And is the flight number something similar to UA 7971? Does
That
it sound
sounds like
like that? Okay.
Yep.
All right, so that is it. Thank you. So I've been to Thailand before, but like that was like many years ago, before I got my US citizenship. And so right now I'm looking at a question. Have you ever visited Thailand? Have you ever applied for a Thai visa? So do I click yes or do I click no?
If you've been here before, you can click yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Last time, did you come in on any specific visa, or did you just come as a tourist?
So that was for I would think on like a tourist visa, because we only stay for like a week, and like that was when I was 5.
Okay, and
So
it was
does it
just
matter?
the one that you didn't need to apply for, you just walk straight in?
Okay, so that is no visa.
No visa, yeah.
And I'm gonna be in Thailand a couple day, maybe not a couple day, but maybe 2 days early. So, and I'm planning to stay at like another hotel. So right now I'm looking at places to stay in Thailand. So do I put the hotel that was given to me in the email, or do I put the hotel that I'm going to be staying at?
I'd always put the first hotel that you're going to stay at in country, and then if they ask for any further information, then you can put your next hotel and your next hotel, and then moving to Hoi Hin. But start off with the first one that you go to.
Got it. Thank you. And then in like the additional place to stay, I would click yes, right? And then list all of
Yeah.
it. So it only have like 2 options. So do I only list the 2 hotels?
Yeah, they want to know, but they can't be bothered as well. So just put either your places you'll stay at the longest or them in consecutive order.
Got it. Thank you.
Also, for anybody arriving in Bangkok a little bit earlier, the best ways to get around the city is, of course, public transport with the train lines. So if you're staying near the BTS, which is the SkyTrain, or the MRT, which is the subway, it's always really helpful. Or I highly recommend to download Grab or Bolt. They are the Uber of Thailand. They're tracked. You know exactly how much you're paying before you get in. And it's a really handy way to get around. So the apps are Grab and Bolt, if you do have extra days before we get to meet you.
I feel like this may be a silly question, but the
Not at
airport
all.
transport is going to take you to the hotel that you're staying at, right? It wouldn't just take you to the final destination, where we would meet in the 29th, right?
It will take you to the hotel we're staying at in Bangkok, and then we pick you up on the 30th when your program starts, and take you down to Hua Hin as well.
Okay.
So I do have one more question. So for George Mason students, we're gonna be on non-O visa, was it?
Yep.
So
Yep.
that means that the I guess having a return flight is not gonna be necessary.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
So I have to arrange for my hotel situation in Vietnam. So I would like to know the date. So by August 12th is when we're going to be done with the program. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So are we going to be done like that morning? And we're gonna be flying out of Thailand that morning? Or is it something else? Or like are we flying in the afternoon or like it doesn't matter?
The flight is up to you to leave. You will have a full 90-day non-O visa. So the day that you arrive in Thailand, it's 90 days from that. So that may not line up exactly with August 12th. You might have a little bit of extra time. It's probably the end of August you have until. So I wouldn't worry about having to leave the country as soon as you finish the program. You will have some extra time. It's up to you. Being done on that day, usually when the program finishes, it's in the afternoon on that day and everybody's free the next day. But once again, you'll have plenty of time if it's a visa related question to leave Thailand.
Because like I need to know so that I can book hotel in Vietnam.
Yeah, sure.
But I think if I need to leave that day, then I can leave that day, right? The
It depends where
program,
you are. Because the George Mason University, you'll be volunteering in different areas that we're still finalizing now. So it may factor in that you are far away from Bangkok airport the day you finish. So I would give yourself 1 or 2 days to make your way back to the airport before you fly.
And just confirming again, is that August 12th?
I believe so, but I'll double check again.
Okay, great. And on that day that the program ends, does our accommodations immediately end that day? So if we were just waiting for a flight one more day, would we just have to get a hotel for that day, or?
Accommodation usually ends at the end of the program time length, but finding extra accommodation or an extra day here in Thailand is super easy and very cheap. You always have cheap options as well as expensive ones, but we're more than happy to help you find something if you needed to stay longer as well.
Great.
Also, anybody who wants to exchange their money as soon as they get to Bangkok, there is a great place right near the Forum Park Hotel in Siloam, which is the next suburb across from Saton. It's called Super Rich. Big Orange Riding always has a really great rate if you wanted to exchange as soon as possible. There's a few other branches in Siam as well. If you make your way over there, I'm sure you will. It's the shopping mall district of Bangkok. They have a big Super Rich across the road from Siam Central as well.
And with the money, could we just bring, like, I guess it wouldn't be smart because it's probably a lot of money, like when you convert it. Could we bring the baht already like in $700 worth, or
Yeah,
should we just
absolutely.
do it over there?
You can bring baht if you want to exchange in your country. For me personally, Australia gives me a terrible rate. Thailand gives me a great rate. So I like to bring over my currency to Thailand and exchange it here because I get more money for my buck, if that makes any sense. But you just have to make sure that the notes are perfect. Also, for anybody traveling with money, please don't put it in your check-in luggage. Please have it in your hand luggage, and just be careful. It's valuable, of course. We've got 4 minutes on the clock, so anybody have anything else at all?
So I would like to repeat that once you finish the flight booking, the insurance, the visa application, the Thailand pass, please send all the documents to us.
Well, thank you for joining us today, everybody. I hope this was helpful. I know we have a lot of different programs all in the webinar at once, so I hope I answered and Gib also answered your individual needs for your visa application, your Thailand pass, and everything you need to do. We understand it's a stressful process to get you here, but it's worthwhile at the end. We're so happy that you guys don't need to quarantine anymore. First group since COVID started, no quarantine, so everything's moving forward and looking great. And if you do need anything, please email Gib or myself anytime. Thank you for joining today. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.